As a result of the fact that over the years I've reviewed quite a few mini video cameras, I get quite a lot of questions from people who are looking for cameras that do particular things. A common one is a spy camera that will record all day long. Now you might be wondering, why would someone actually want a spy camera? Well, I'll give you an example of an occasion when one might have been useful for me. Years ago I used to work in an office. Every night the cleaners would come into that office and they'd go through the drawers of my desk and steal my sweets. People used to say, "Are you sure you haven't ate them?" And I started to think I might be going a bit mad. But these were back in the days when everybody had a dictaphone. You recorded letters by speaking into the dictaphone, sending the tape off to the typing pool, who'd type it up and send it out. This is before word processors, really. And that led to the brilliant office joke of, "Can I use your dictaphone?" "No, you can use your finger like everybody else." Anyway, back to the dictaphone. It had voice-activated recording on it, so what I did, I put it at the back of my drawer and left a nice message for the cleaners. And the next day, when I listened back to the tape, I could hear my desk drawer open and close a number of times, but my sweets were still there. Now, of course, I couldn't prove who the guilty party was. Now, if I'd had something like this at the time, which is a hidden spy camera inside an innocuous-looking desk alarm clock, I could have proven who the guilty party was. Now, this has been sent to me for free from an Australian site called gadgetbuy.com.au. They thought it might be something that I'd be interested in, and they were right. So let's have a look at it. Now, of course, Gadget Buy don't make this camera. They've sourced it from China, along with lots of other gadgets. Now, let's have a look at the specs here. It says it'll take photos. You can use it as a webcam. It can support an SD card up to 32 gigabytes. Here's what you get inside the box. Now, they sent me over a UK power adapter, of course. The plug that's supplied with it just plugs into there. And on the other end of that is a USB adapter. That's to charge it with, and then there's another one to use for data transfer. There's a little remote control, which comes with a piece of plastic to protect the battery. It's got 5 buttons on it. There's the instruction booklet there. Half of that's in Chinese and half's in English, and then a driver disc on an 8cm CD. And here's the clock itself, and we'll just peel off this protective coating. On the back of the clock you've got 5 buttons which you use for setting the time, etc. It's got this little pull out leg on the back, and that's of course for standing it up. And then behind this door here there's 2 rather large batteries, a USB port, an on-off switch, and a place to put the micro SD card. Now these batteries, when they were supplied with it, came with a little bit of card over the end there, and that caused me some confusion when I was trying to figure out why it wasn't charging up, so bear that in mind if you do get that. The instruction booklet here has a few specifications. It's 640 by 480, it uses AVI video file format. As I mentioned there, it goes up to 32 gigabytes in size, and the charging time takes 8 hours. So here's the clock in action. I've set the time and date, and it cycles around between the time, the date, and the temperature. You can set that to centigrade or Fahrenheit.
15:25.
Oh, and it talks as well. And you can get it to play a number of different nature type sounds, either as alarms or on a countdown timer. So it's a good alarm clock, but I'm sure what you're really interested in finding out is how good it is at being a spy camera. So let's use this remote control to turn it on. Top left there you've got power, then you've got motion activation, video record, still photo, or sound recording. So we'll press the red button. The blue light comes on behind the mirrored front. That's to show that the camera is now active and in standby mode. So if we press the video record button there, the blue light flashes a few times and then goes out so that it's discreet and you can't tell that anything's going on. Now, when it's recording, it will record for about 12 hours on those batteries, and it will also stay in motion activation mode for about 12 hours. At least in my test it has done. Now we'll press the button again to put it back into standby, and the blue light comes back on. Now we'll try out the motion activation mode. Now this takes a 3-minute clip every time it sees any kind of motion in front of the camera. When we tap this button now, the blue light will flash quickly. What that's really saying is get out of the way, otherwise you'll end up on the video, because when the blue light stops flashing, it's going to look for any motion and then start recording again. Right, I think it's time to have a look at some of the video that's been recorded by the camera.
Hopefully this will give you some idea about the video and sound recording quality that you're going to get from this camera. Now, my camera camera's got a little bit of a fault with it. It's got a scratch above the sensor part of the lens, which I'm sure makes this area here rather blurry. I think if I stand to one side like this, you'll probably find that I get more in focus. Now, the other things I should say about the camera are that it's only 640 by 480, it's not HD, and that means that things aren't as sharp as you'd expect on an HD camera, of course. Also, in low light conditions, things get rather grainy. Now, we're in quite a low light condition now, and I'm sure you're already starting to see some grain on the video. If we were to take this down even further into a kind of nighttime scenario, you wouldn't be able to see anything at all. So that means that you've got to really think about where you want to use this camera as a surveillance camera, because it's not suitable for every occasion. What it does have, though, is this nice wide-angle lens on it, and that enables you to see me no matter where I stand in the room, and that's exactly what you need on a camera like this. So when you combine the nice wide-angle lens with the massive battery life, you get a pretty good surveillance system.
Someone should give that guy a job, he's really quite good. I thought I'd take the camera outside, even though this isn't really what it's designed for, just to show what it looks like in a bit better light. Now, I did mention, of course, this scratch in the centre of the lens, and you'll be able to see it as I pan around, that the middle bit gets blurry as I go past things. I don't know how that happened, to be honest. I think I must have scuffed it on something. One rather strange anomaly with this camera is the fact that you have to set the time on that video timestamp by copying across a file like this onto the memory card. It doesn't pull the time off the alarm clock. Now, the only other thing that I haven't mentioned yet is this driver disc that came in it, and that's to enable you to use the camera as a webcam. Something I'm not interested in, and it didn't work anyway, but it did enable me to attach the camera to my computer and use the USB lead to copy the files off it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the spy camera that's hidden inside an alarm clock, and it's the only spy camera that I know that will give you a 12-hour recording time. And that alarm clock's alright as well. I mean, you could take it on your holidays and use it to see if the maid's nicking all the stuff out of your suitcase. As long as she doesn't nick your alarm clock, of course, as well. So I've really got to thank Gadget Buy once again for sending this over to me. I hope you don't mind this shameless plug, but they really are nice people to do that because it enables me to show it to you. So if you're in Australia or somewhere nearby, go and have a look at their website. And all that remains for me now is to say thanks for watching.